If one of your goals for this year is to be a content creator, then you are in the right place because this is your ultimate guide to becoming a content creator in 2024. We'll be talking about niches. Do you need one? Do you not need one? We'll be talking about equipment. We'll be talking about making money through content creation. We are covering as much as we can in this video, so let's get into it. So it's officially been 3 years since I started my content creation journey. I posted one of my very first YouTube videos in January 2021, and I also started a brand new Instagram January 2021 as well. But even though it's only been 3 years of me creating content, I have actually wanted to do this for way longer than that. And if you're watching this video, I'm sure you can relate. I'm sure you can relate to this being a dream of yours for such a long time. And honestly, starting it is probably the hardest part. Starting it and sticking to it and staying consistent with it, I would say that is probably the biggest challenges of being a content creator. I've been wanting to be a content creator since as long as I can remember, since I very first started watching YouTube videos, watching all the beauty gurus put on their makeup and do their skincare and everything. Like, I was just obsessed. I wanted to be a content creator, I wanted to be an influencer, but I was always pushing it off until the right time. I was always waiting until everything was perfect, until I lived in my own apartment, until I had the right equipment, until everything was exactly perfect, until I knew all the right things. But something that I realized along the way is there is never going to be a perfect time. And this is one of the biggest lessons you'll learn, is it's never going to be the right time. It's never going to be the perfect time. You just need to start and you learn along the way. So I started on YouTube in my childhood bedroom at my parents' house, filming on my phone. I didn't even have a microphone. I didn't have the right equipment. All of those things came with time. So if you're watching this and you haven't started yet, then take this as your sign to get started. Start putting yourself out there, start showing up, because you will learn along the way. And I really hope that this video helps you, but the most important thing is not just watching this video and learning, but also taking action after the video. Because that is another way that we stop ourselves, is trying to learn as much as we can about every little thing, but you actually learn more by showing up. You learn how to speak on camera by speaking on camera. You learn how to edit videos by editing videos. It all comes with practice and with showing up consistently. And so in this video, I've come up with about 10 or so steps that will help you start this journey into content creation. This is actually the first video I've ever made on content creation, especially on YouTube. And so I'm a little bit nervous to post this because it's out of my niche, but I am really passionate about content creation. I've also been a social media manager for the past 3 years. I recently got into UGC content creation. So I am really passionate about social media. I'm really passionate about content creation. And it's only fitting to me that I start introducing it into my content as well. So if you are a content creator, if you're an aspiring content creator, then definitely make sure to hit the subscribe button because I will be talking about it a lot more. All right, let's get into becoming a content creator. What should be your first step? The first step to becoming a content creator is first asking yourself why. Why do you actually want to be a content creator? Why do you want to pursue this? Why is this something that you want to do? And this is definitely a step that everybody skips over. They just want to jump straight into the action. But this is probably the most important step because being a content creator is not easy. It takes a lot of discipline. It takes hard work. It takes showing up and facing yourself, facing your insecurities, facing any negative thoughts that you have about yourself, and any judgment that you have towards yourself. And so having a strong why is going to drive you on those days when you don't want to show up. And also you want to make sure that you're in it for the right reasons. If you just want to be a content creator because you think it's going to make you money really quick, or you just want to be famous or whatever it is, like, it needs to be a deeper why. And not to say that wanting money or wanting financial freedom is not a good why, but it's not going to be enough. For me, one of the biggest things that drive me is that this is one of my biggest passions. Like, I love showing up and I love sharing my message with the world. I love creatively expressing myself, and knowing that my content is impacting people and inspiring people, like, that is my why. That is my reason for showing up, is to be that inspiration, to be a positive influence for people. That is actually why I got into social media, because I remember I was going through a really difficult time and I felt so alone in my struggles, and I wish that I had known of anybody else who was going through something like I was going through. But at the time, there wasn't that much social media. There wasn't TikTok. There wasn't People weren't sharing that much about their lives on Instagram or Facebook. Everything was very surface level, and I just felt so alone in my struggles. And so when I started on social media, I made a commitment to myself that I would show up and I would share all sides of me, even if they were vulnerable, even if they were hard to share. I wanted to share those things. I wanted to be that person to share these things to help other people. So definitely take time to reflect on why you want to be a content creator, because your reason could be very different than mine. But you want to make sure that you have a strong why and that you actually know why you're doing this. Okay, now let's talk about niches. Do you need a niche? Can you just post anything? What are my thoughts on having a niche? So if you watched my life update video, then you kind of already know my thoughts on having a niche. But basically, no, I don't think that you need a niche unless you're posting on social media for a business or for a specific product, or you have an idea of one day creating a product or one day creating a business out of this. Then I think it's a good idea to pick a niche, because you're going to want to figure out what is your ideal client, what is your target audience that actually wants to purchase this product or this service. But if you're kind of just wanting to be an influencer, wanting to be a content creator, then I don't think it's necessary to pick a niche and box yourself in. But on the same note, that doesn't mean that you should just post everything and anything. And if you do want to take that route of just being, you know, an influencer, a content creator, and not really like boxing yourself into a niche, or you don't really want to like have your own business one day or like sell products, then I think what could help is to kind of like brain dump a bunch of topics or things that you're passionate about, things that you can talk about forever, and that's your niche. Literally all of those topics are your niche. And then with time, you'll start to notice which ones you resonate with more and which ones you actually don't really care to talk about that much. And I also think that if you do end up going the route of choosing a niche, just know that you don't need to box yourself into this niche forever. It is okay to pivot. It is okay to change your mind. And this is one of the biggest lessons I learned as a content creator, is that it is okay to change. It is okay to switch up what you're talking about, because we change. You know, I've been posting on social media, like I said, for 3 years now. I have changed a lot in the past 3 years. My interests have changed. A lot of like my beliefs have changed. My mindset about things has changed. And so I'm not going to be posting the same exact content that I was posting 3 years ago, and that's okay. And it's also okay if you pivot and your audience doesn't really resonate with your new topic. Like, that's okay too, because just like you're changing, your audience is also changing. So you can't expect them to, you know, be committed to you and your content forever. Like, there's going to be people that come in and come out, and that's okay. I do also think it depends on your personality type and who you are as a person. Like for me, I feel like I'm very multi-passionate. I love so many different topics, and I also feel like I'm always changing. I don't really do well with like sameness, or like when things are just the same too much. Like I go crazy. I don't like that. I like things to be switched up. I like change. I like trying new things. So for me, like being that type of person, I don't work well when I'm in a niche. And that's when I can feel very creatively limited. But for somebody who can talk about the same thing over and over again for years on end, or similar topics for a long period of time, and they don't mind that, then you would do really well choosing a niche and staying within that. Now let's talk about the equipment. What do you practically need to get started? There's no need to overcomplicate things. You really only need 3 things. Something to film on, good lighting, and a good microphone. Something to film on can literally just be your phone. Like I said, when I first started filming YouTube videos, I was recording everything on my phone. With lighting, natural light is definitely the best. So if you can just set your phone up right in front of the window, that's when you'll probably get the best lighting. But let's say you live in a dark apartment or it's a gloomy day out, this is when it's really good to invest in some type of ring light. And when I first started, I just purchased like a $20 ring light on Amazon, and that worked great. And you definitely want to make sure you have good audio, so investing in a good microphone as well. And again, you can just get a $20 one on Amazon. That's what I did when I first started. There's really no need to get super fancy equipment, especially when you're first starting. You can just start with what you have. So when I first started, what I did is I just set my phone up right in front of my window. I had one of those $20 Amazon clip-on microphones, and that was it. That's how I filmed my YouTube videos. And I would edit everything right in iMovie, which is free if you have a MacBook. And I told myself, once I hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, then I'll start investing in better equipment. So that's when I bought my camera, which is what I'm filming on now. I used the Canon EOS M50. And then I also invested in a better microphone. I invested in a better ring light. So if you can't invest in the best equipment, don't let that stop you, because you can literally just start right on your phone. You have the right equipment, you have your reason why, you have topics that you want to post about. All that's left for you to do is to show up and to actually start posting. This is when you are going to learn the most, is by showing up, getting your reps in. I spent so much time learning and consuming as much as I could about social media, about making the best content, before I actually even hit record. So don't make that mistake. Actually start showing up, start creating content, and do it when it's not that good. Don't worry about whether it's good or not. Just focus on improving. Focus on how you can get better lighting, on how you can get better sound, on how you can learn more editing tricks. Like, all of that comes with time. When I posted one of my very first YouTube videos, I was reading from a script. I would literally read one sentence, go back, read another sentence, go back, read another sentence, and go back. It was so cringe, but I didn't care, because I was showing up, I was practicing, and over time I got better. Now I can record videos with just a quick little outline, just bullet points. That's when I do feel like I work best, having some type of structure. But I don't need to read from a script word for word, because I'm comfortable now talking on camera. But that didn't come when I first started. It didn't even come after 10 videos. It took probably 6 months of me showing up consistently to get comfortable talking on camera. And it's really important not to let yourself get discouraged. If you film a video and it takes you hours to film it, takes you hours to edit it, and you're like, oh my God, I'm never gonna get better at this, like, this is really hard, don't get discouraged about that. Because the more you practice, the more you put your reps in, the easier it gets. Just like anything that you try for the very first time, it's going to be difficult. There's gonna be a learning curve. I'll never forget my very first YouTube video that I posted to my channel. It took me like 5 hours to film it and like 8 hours to edit it. And it was like a 10-minute long video. I don't know why it took me so long, but it was something that I was trying brand new. Like, I did not have the skills for it. And so of course it's gonna take time. And there are still some times, even now to this day, where it does take me a long time to film. It takes me a long time to edit, because it's still a skill that I'm mastering. So something I wish somebody told me when I first started is to commit to at least 1 year of trying and doing this before you even think of giving up. And in that year, don't get wrapped up in the vanity metrics. Don't get wrapped up in how difficult it is. Just focus on improving. Focus on showing up. Now let's talk about making money through content creation, because if this is something that you really want to pursue, chances are you're going to want to make an income from it, especially if you want to turn it into a full-time thing. So I'm not going to go too into depth on this, because you can definitely do your own research on all of these, but I will kind of just do a little bit of an overview of the different ways to make money through content creation, different ways that I've also made money through social media. So definitely the most known way of making money through social media is brand partnership. So this is when a brand will send you a product and they'll pay you to create a video or a piece of content showcasing that product, and you post it on your social media. This one can be a little bit more difficult, and it could take you time to actually secure these brand partnerships, because you first need to build your own audience and also build your engagement up to a point to where a brand wants to pay you to post a video about a certain product. But what's really cool is that nowadays you actually don't even need a following to start making money through your own content creation. And you might have already heard about this, especially if you're on TikTok. It's being a UGC creator. So UGC stands for user-generated content. And this is when a brand will send you a product or a service, and you'll make content using that, but you won't post it to your own social media. They'll post it on their own social media, either as organic content, or they'll run ads on it and use it as paid content. So this is really great because you don't need a following to actually get started on UGC. Anybody can really get started on UGC. I do think that it's important to take time to learn how to make good content before jumping into UGC and to film your own sample videos, create a portfolio, and really make sure that you know what you're doing before you start pitching to brands. I think that this is something that a lot of people just jump straight into UGC and start pitching to brands when they don't even know what they're doing. They don't even have the skills to create good content. So although there's less of a barrier to entry for this one because you don't need a massive following to get started, I do think that the very least thing that you need is the skills to actually make good content. And that comes with practice, that comes with showing up. And another way you can make money through content creation is through digital products, through selling your own products or selling your own services. So I think this really works when you are an expert in something or when you're really knowledgeable about something that your audience actually wants to be knowledgeable in as well. So if you've achieved something really big or you have mastered something, you can make some type of digital product, you can make some type of course, and you can sell it to your audience. So I've actually done this before. I have created a couple online courses, I've created some online workbooks, and if you go to the link in my description box, I actually have a self-love and inner healing guided workbook that I made, I think like 2 years ago now. So that's kind of cool because it kind of acts as like passive income. It's something that you make once and then just continues to sell. Now, before I wrap up this video, I do want to talk about some mindset shifts to being a content creator. Because like I said in the beginning of this video, it is not easy to be a content creator. It takes a lot of discipline, it takes a lot of hard work, and it takes you consistently showing up and facing yourself, facing your insecurities. And so I wanted to share a couple of mindset shifts that can really help you to take on this content creation journey. So the first mindset shift is to focus on showing up versus focusing so much on the external results. I really feel like in the world that we live in, we're just programmed to seek out instant gratification. And so that's definitely something that you need to rewire, especially being a content creator, because it is not gonna be an overnight thing. It's gonna be something that takes time and consistency. And there's gonna be a lot of times when you show up where you're not seeing the results. And this is something I'm still learning 3 years into my journey, is being proud of myself for showing up consistently versus focusing so much on the external results. Obviously, I do think it's important to look at the results, but you want to look at the results in a more neutral sense rather than taking it so personally. For example, if a video flops, instead of looking at the video and being like, ugh, nobody likes me, I suck at this, I don't even think I should be a content creator, like instead of going down that route, looking at that video in a more neutral way and asking yourself, if this video didn't do well, what can I improve on next time? Why did this video actually not do well? The next mindset shift is to focus on building a community versus focusing so much on the follower growth. Yes, follower count is important, but more importantly than that is the community that you're actually building and the engagement that you're getting on your content. So instead of focusing so much on the views, on the likes, on everything, actually focus on the comments, the DMs, the messages that you're getting from people. Like, are you actually making an impact on your community? Are you actually building a community? I think it's so easy to get wrapped up in the vanity metrics that we forget that behind each number that we see on the screen is an actual person. So if you're getting 50 views on your video, like just imagine if 50 people were watching you speak. Like that's a lot of people. I don't even know if 50 people could fit in this room. It would be pretty crowded in here. So instead of saying, oh, I only got 50 views, it's like, I got 50 views. That's pretty cool. All right, I think that's gonna be it for today's video. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions about being a content creator. If there's anything I didn't touch on that you would like me to touch on, let me know. And I'll see you on my next video. Bye.